Ghana was put on the grey list that shows the performance of countries regarding safety or level of risk of their financial systems. I mean, this is money laundering as it's a global thing. It's global, right? Yeah.
Tend to launder money through different countries, mostly these developing, low developing countries.
Low developing countries.
Yes,
it's a popular trend.
Yes, laundering money. I was watching a series actually, the Ozarks, and it was about money laundering. You get into these maybe drug cartels, and they need you to clean their money. Yeah. So you have to distribute the money to clean it. You come up with a suggestion. When you come up, let's say you have a stock business. I come to you and I'm like, you know what, I can invest in your business.
I can invest in your business.
Put in more money to make sure you thrive. So in that way, they are laundering money. They're cleaning up the money. Yeah. That was embezzled or whatever dubious
actually used to get the money.
Access to use the money. I think that is why most people are having difficulty accessing money from different accounts from outside Uganda, because you are questioned, where is the money coming from, who's sending you the money, if it's a lot of money. So just imagine they're sending you like 30 million or 100 million.
But that's not a lot of money.
No, that is
if
a
it's
lot.
a billion, at least I can.
That is a lot compared, because laundering, by the way, doesn't have to be a billion.
That is just in Uganda, where such a sum amount, because in dollars that would be about $5,000. $8,000.
But then they would question you depending on your profession, and I mean, you're a teacher.
I'm an online trader. I do online business.
Unless maybe you're into business and you've been acquiring huge sums of money from the past. Yeah. But you, Andrew Barije, and you're getting like
why not
a billion? They'll be like,
why not? Why wouldn't I get a billion?
From who? From who? What have you done for the last 6 months that can really prove that this money is really?
I sold 1 million records.
A million records.
Exactly.
You're an artist. And then people are
on Spotify, and I'm being paid.
Okay.
Exactly. Okay. Now Uganda is on the verge for being blacklisted by the Financial Task Force for alleged money laundering, according to the criminal investigation. That is Directorate Deputy, that is Bita Chalemo. Now, when we see that the consequences of such a blacklisting can indeed be quite significant, and of course, without divulging further details, he said that thieves have amplified, that is their gang, by switching from crude crimes. That is when we talk about crude crimes, we're trying to mean here a use of arms to carry out robberies, and to the cyberspace hacking, which they use to siphon millions of shillings from financial institutions. So you can really see, I mean, there is even some aspect of using arms to carry out robberies. That is another level. Now, she tasked the CID detectives to embrace training that will enable them, that is to keep track of criminals. And Chalemo made the comments at the CID headquarters in Chibuli in regards to that matter. Now, the consequence of Uganda being blacklisted is that transactions originating from Uganda, all made through Uganda's financial system, and cash from all to the country face more scrutiny, that is by the international systems, which leads to delays in concluding business transactions. So as you can see that. Now, additionally, when a country is blacklisted, we get to see that countries or other financial jurisdictions may block some transactions if they cannot ascertain the source of destination of the money, or prove that it has nothing that is to do with the money laundering. So it's becoming quite a thing in Uganda.
There's a friend of mine I know that was trying to access money. He wants to build up a building for his company, and of course he got partners from Sweden, whatever. So he's finding it difficult for the money to come in, because they are questioning him, where is this money coming from? Who are these people that are sending him money? So he has been this back and forth of the money questions. So up to now they're still questioning.
Still questioning.
Yeah. And it could be genuine, but of course, they need to know.
But why is the government concerned about people's earnings? Anyway, I mean, because we have mixed economies. I mean, we have some element of socialism, some element of they call it the capitalism, because in a purely capitalist state, $10,000 transaction wouldn't be a deal. $100,000 transaction wouldn't be a deal. I mean, we're talking about 500s of millions of in there that are being transferred. I don't think that would be a deal. I mean, why is it that governments are concerned about the well-being of the people?
Yes, because now it's
So if
just
I'm rich,
it depends
is
on who is receiving the money. If you've been an ordinary person, really, and you're receiving such huge amounts of money, you know, they have to question, of all the years you've been earning 500,000, now we are seeing millions of money coming in to you. What is it all about? You mean they will go back and check your records, or maybe if you have a relative, or how much they do background check as well.
Background check. Very interesting. But when I know one thing about life, it's like people can surprise you with what they can actually do. Now, explaining the pending resolution to blacklist Uganda, of course, a source say that the Financial Intelligence Authority told the CID, that's the Criminal Investigation Department, that they are one step away of being blacklisted. So Uganda is at the verge. It's not yet officially blacklisted, but on the verge of being blacklisted.
Soon going to the
exactly,
blacklist.
yeah, already on the grey list, heading to the blacklist. And we only have a grace period until October this year.
I think it's because of the kind of situation in corruption, embezzlement. I think that is why we are on the list, really.
Yes.
Because Uganda is also among the countries that is listed for corruption globally. So definitely, we have to appear on the list.
To appear on the list. Okay. I mean,
if one person alone can walk away with billions of money, then definitely there is need for such systems that need to track where you could have gotten the money from. Mostly these people who work in these institutions, higher institutions, not of learning, but higher institutions of government.
Big institutes.
Yeah, big institutes.
Okay. Now, of course, it all started when the outgoing FIA executive director, that is Sydney Asubo, warned that is of the blacklist when he prepared before the Parliament Committee of Finance. That was in 2022, if you remember. And Asubo has since been replaced by Samuel Were Wandera, said that Uganda was placed on the grey list. It's actually 3 years ago in 2020, and when the nation was listed, and a list that highlights countries that have significant shortfalls in tackling money laundering. And he noted that the FTF had written to the finance minister, and he wrote back that is making commitments to address the identified issues by January, that is 2022, but later pushed it to May 2022 because of the impact of the COVID-19, according to the report. But he, however, concerned that a number of issues are still outstanding. And he added on the FATF had issued a notice that if these issues were not addressed, then the country would be moved from the blacklist. I mean, the money laundering aspect. And, you know, something which is actually, which I think is not going to, it might not be taken, like looking into the money laundering aspects, trying to, you know, revise ways to beat up that whole scheme. It doesn't seem to be easy because of the systems we have, and I mean, some kind of favoritism, because you find that the majority of the people that actually do this have the state armory, they have all these things, and I mean, they're untouchable in some sort of a way, and that at some sort, they may not be actually within the state, but the collaboration with some people in the state leads to that. I mean, investigations can be really put out there, and by no means, in my prediction, by the end of this year, because we have October as the deadline to look into these matters, October, November, Uganda might be listed on the blacklist of the countries that are under money laundering. And, you know, that's sort of in a way, when we have what we call the foreign direct investments, it's going to be hard for an investor to import money in a country if they do that. This nation is on the blacklist and all that. So that is going to cause some sort of a bias when it comes to, you know, attracting these people. Now, it's a requirement by the FTF Global Intergovernmental Organization, that is on the initiative of the G7 countries to develop policies to combat money laundering and terrorism financing. And of course, we're taking a look at the world, facing all these aspects of terrorism that is happening around. I mean, that is causing quite some worries. And the fact that Uganda still, there were warnings from the British government and the United States of America about possible terrorism attacks. So, well, October is not really far. August, September, just about 3 months we left with to sort out these matters before we make what the international community thinks about us when it comes to security. Because right now Uganda is still on the list of the countries where insecurity. Everything that is being really spoken out there is it's a little bit negative according to that. So when we have such reports arising, well, we gotta sort out that the public image so that everything really goes the way it should go. Well, that is it for the morning call, and now let's switch and take a look at what's happening into the press. Now I have the Daily Monitor here, and Masika Tume is going to be telling us through that is the Novision, and of course top of the Daily Monitor here. 25 drowned in Lake Victoria by accident. Quite a tragedy in there, and 25 is quite a huge number of people to drown on a boat. And remember, the winds down the lakes, and sometimes the weather is quite a little bit unpredictable. But I think that's why it's very key and important to, if you can find a way of checking out what they call the weather forecast, because when you get these reports, they will help you out to make decisions. They will tell you the details that, if you're staying on areas closer to the lake, it's likely to be probably, they're going to be strong winds during this time, up to this time. But of course, it's not really always accurate, but at least it gives you a clue before you get into that boat to proceed to any other related destination. So that's why I believe it's very key and important for you to that. And, yeah. Now, Electoral Commission sets nomination dates for the 2026 polls. You will still find out the elections are planned to be held between January 12th and February, and 9,226 that is 12th and February here. But candidates for the presidential, parliamentary and local government slots will be nominated in 2 years time. That is from June to October 2025.
And of course, in the New Vision, our top story as government names best circles, and of course 134 billion bonus shillings, that is in shillings, a bonus for top performing saving circles. That is on page 12. You can check out and see if your district has one of the best circles, and of course they're getting a bonus of 134 billion Ugandan shillings, so that is a good deal for them. And of course, Museveni meets Japanese foreign minister. President Yoweri Museveni met the Japanese foreign minister Yoshimasa during his official visit to Uganda at the State House Entebbe. That was yesterday. More details on page 4. And of course, borders banned from city center. That and more when you get yourself a copy of the New Vision today.
Now here we see something to do with Kampala braces for heavy traffic due to road repairs. And of course, this has been witnessed during the Port Bell Nakawa Road, that is being the Nakawa Port Bell Road, that is which is under construction by the Kampala City Council Authority, and that is actually calling for. So that means most especially for the people that actually have those on-duty jobs. And you gotta be at the workplace very early. You gotta report on time, and that shows you that it's going to be very tricky. And majority of the people actually are resulting to longer roads to head to the different destinations and execute what they ought to execute. Now, of course, still the saga of the 25 dead in the boat crash. You'll still find it here. And government issues orders on life jackets. Yeah, it's very important now, of course, following such a tragedy. It's good, like how you be on the plane and you have the parachutes. So same applies to life jackets when it comes to that. Now here I can see something from says that journalists endure treacherous waters to cover judicial training. You'll find that out still. What are those? What is that they really had to endure? What are the treacherous waters that they actually got involved with? And when you get that, I believe it will be quite very. Now, of course, we see still in the national news as police trap and grab escaped gang leader. Yeah, he was arrested and escaped. Now he's grabbed back. Find that out.
He's a very handsome, young-looking man, and what a waste of beauty right there in robbery. But still, in the new vision, 340.
Beauty, but don't have brains.
340 women to benefit from the 116 billion project that is of course Dreams and Cascade projects. Now those women will benefit. We can see here the signing of Sarah Macheke as she puts her hand on this project, of course, that will help these women start their businesses and of course improve themselves. And of course, cabinet readies new electoral laws, and of course on a tragedy, on a very sad note, over 20 traders die in Lake Victoria boat disaster. And of course, I saw a story why Reverend Father wrote, people have been, I think, wondering why most bishops are, buried inside cathedrals. So if you want to get more information, I would want to know really.
Why are they buried
inside? I would want to know. So because I went to Catholic schools and they used to see them inside the tombs, and so I would.
Tombs inside a cathedral.
Yes, inside.
A tomb.
Yes, they bury them inside.
Oh, there is some sort of an outside, like a compound where they put the graves.
Inside.
Where
inside.
we pray from.
Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah, so that, you see, you have to read this. You have to read this. I'm really excited. I want to know the reason behind this. I'm definitely going to get myself a copy.
You already have one. After the show, you'll get an actually
yes. And of course, World Youth Day calls on youth to rise in haste and witness. Yesterday, actually, they're having in the International World Youth Day celebration. Takes place between 2 to 3 years, and this year it will take place on 1st to 6th. This month,
okay.
the Youth Day. So if you're a youth, just like us below 35, was it below 35 or 40?
35.
Below 35, definitely. This is your day. From today is 4th, today is 3rd. So definitely between those days, they're going to be celebrating the youth, their achievements, and of course what needs to be done to help them come out of the poverty. As you see, they're involved in true robbery and lots of dubious things that are going on.
Okay.
And of course, most hear a story of cattle farmers decry falling milk prices. Milk prices have reduced, which is good for those that love milk. I would definitely think it's a good.
Actually, milk has become one of those commodities that Uganda we are becoming known at, and we seem to be having what we call economies of scale because we've spent quite some time producing this milk. Well, that is it for our morning press updates. And now images that you observing in there are coming in from the Fairway traffic light junction. You can really take a look at that. I mean, people that are coming in from Wandega, I can see there is quite it seems like a huge line in my side here. But sometimes I call such incidences deceptive. That you can look at German, you just overwhelmed and you think that, hey, I'm gonna be late, but you'll be surprised. Now you can see it's really getting a little bit much more clear. But what I don't know is the Mlago roundabout. That one might be a little slightly congested because it's rarely for it to be free. Actually, at so many hours of the day. But anyway, according to the look of things, it seems to be a clear route. And not so many passers by. It's a cool morning. See, like majority of the vehicles that are actually in here are coming in from, these are private vehicles. I'm not seeing quite lots of public making it in there, and the situation is very calm. Now that's a route that is next to the John Babiha route, the route that is sloping down. Yes, where you see the vehicle sloping, that's the John Babiha route. One of the routes that I know that actually have quite lots of traffic lights. But if you're not a patient person, I mean, it could not be the right route for you to use. If you're heading in a quite a quick appointment, you gotta be very, very, impatient for that. But according to the look of things, the situation seems calm around in there, though there seem to be a number of vehicles, like many, but moving. Yeah, so if we can take a look at the Yusuf Lule route, of course, linking all the way up to Garden City, and you're heading to Oasis Mall. That route, as you're seeing it there. Vehicles that are coming in from that route heading towards Wandaga and many other related destinations seem to be really on a smooth path. And yeah, of course, if you're coming in from town and heading towards the other places of town, you're likely to not be affected with congestion, unlike those that are leaving the suburbs and they're heading to city center. Yeah, those ones actually find it here, but it's not the case at this junction. Yeah, it seems a little bit friendly according to the look of things. So if you're coming in from Wandaga, Mulago, or any areas that almost link to those areas, well, and you probably plan to use this junction, I can guarantee you that you will be able to reach on time. Yeah, the traffic office is definitely controlling these vehicles to ensure that there are no early morning disruptions instead of crashes. Now when we switch our eyes to the John Babiha route, you can see a number of vehicles that are coming in from there. It's a huge fleet, actually. I think it's the most congested. Now we're talking about still people from Kamucha. Instead of passing via this route as a shortcut, you could actually proceed and head and use you rotate around the Mulago roundabout, and you see talking about people from Kandicha Street, even those people that use Ntinda Bokoto route, you break through Kandicha Street. Some of them actually normally come in here, but I think we could find another alternative. You could try out the Kira Road and link straight to Wandaga, and then you can see how you can be in position to link down to town, just in case it's where your destination is. Yeah, so the John Babiha route is the most congested according to the look of things, but the Yusuf Lule route seems to be quite very friendly. Well, that is it for the traffic updates this morning, and it's exactly 25 minutes past 7. You're still watching Smart Men's Business. I'm Andrew Bariji with Masi Katsime here on your daily kicks. But still, before we get into the break, I'd love to remind you that the markets on the Zabo platform are going to be on anytime from now, and star 292 hash should be the code for you there to avail with options where you'll be in position to buy government bonds and securities for a fee of just 15,000 you get in shillings. Now the markets going to be opening at exactly 8:15 a.m. running all the way to 3:15 p.m. West African time. This is effective from Monday up to Friday, apart from the weekends and the public holidays when those markets can only be accessed. But of course, despite the fact, you have the rest of the days to capitalize and make yourself quite some huge profits, something which I believe is financially okay and viable. And on top of star 292 hash, still remember, you have to register with your national identification number for you to proceed efficiently. And Zabo says, my money, my future. And all that East Africa tells you, do something new for yourself. Remember, it is 2023. Well, at this point in time, let's get into the break. And when we return, we shall be taking a look at what's happening. And that is on the East African region and the international community. Stick around.